Hello everybody and welcome to your very first round of month ahead forecasts on my channel. I'm so excited to start something new. I'm at a new place. This is like a new filming studio, if you will, and I can't wait to kind of change up my offerings a little bit. And before we begin, I do want to tell you a little bit about that. First and foremost, my name is Yelena Crawford, so welcome back to anyone and everyone that was a previous subscriber. Thank you guys so much. And for anybody that hasn't met me yet, welcome. I'm very happy to have you here. And this is kind of what my channel is going to look like moving forward. So if you were not a previous subscriber, you don't need to worry about what it used to be, but I kind of have a little bit of a new content strategy. So I'm going to be getting rid of my weekly forecast completely, and I'm going to start the month couple days prior to each new month. I'm going to push out forecast videos, which are month ahead forecasts, which is what this is, for all 12 zodiac signs. So you guys can know ahead of time exactly what's happening. And if you weren't already aware, I do offer a written monthly forecast as well. And it's general. It's not by zodiac sign. It's basically all about the collective and the energies that are happening in the month ahead, which can really help you to have that written paper, right? So if you are interested in signing up for my free written cosmic guide, is what I call it, you can go to my website, yelenacrawford.com, and a little pop-up box will come up on the screen where you can enter your email address. But I promise not to spam. I don't really send a whole lot. I maybe inform you guys of new videos or any new offerings I might have or whatever, but that's pretty much it. And then on top of these monthly forecasts, what I plan to do is obviously full and new moon videos, you know, and horoscopes for those as they come along. But also I want to start breaking down significant transits throughout the month. So as the energies are kind of coming in and passing, I want to really dive in and hone in and talk about those as they come along so we can kind of follow the transits together. So I want to make this really interactive. I may end up doing a lot of lives for some of these things too, but I will definitely make sure to let you guys know ahead of time. And then another one of my offerings is on Instagram, and I've been really kind of amping that up, and I've been doing daily astrology updates. So if you guys really want to follow the astrology on a daily basis as you learn and as it helps you with your own life, then I would highly suggest adding me over at Yelena Crawford Astrology on Instagram as well. I'm going to have stories and daily posts so you guys can keep up to date with the astrology in many different ways. Also, this is a general forecast, and I want to make that very clear that yes, I'm breaking this down by your rising sign. So that kind of sets up the chart, and I'm able to kind of see some of the in and out energies and the different themes that might be brought into focus for you over the next month. But your individual birth chart is what gets activated by these transiting energies. And our birth charts are all completely different. So while this might be hitting somebody and really bringing out positive potential with some of these transits, it could also be really exacerbating a negative portion of someone else's chart. So just keep that in mind. And if you are someone who is maybe navigating big changes and you want to make more sense of it, then contact me for a personal reading. I would highly suggest getting a reading with me or whatever astrologer you deeply resonate with. You can also do that through my website, yelenacrawford.com. And yeah, I think that's pretty much all the announcements for right now. So let's get into the forecast. Taurus rising. So happy April 2022. It's crazy how fast this month is moving along, honestly. Gonna be a big month for you specifically. This is eclipse season, and eclipses, as you may or may not know, are on the Taurus-Scorpio axis until the summer of 2023, which means this is a very pivotal time for who you are as a person being completely reshaped. A lot of things ending, a lot of things changing, because the structures and foundations of your life are subject to major change, right? I'm sure a lot of you are already feeling this energy nonetheless. So let's dive in and take a deeper look at what the month of April may have in store for you. Okay, so we start the month with a pretty significant new moon in the sign of Aries. So one thing that's a little bit more challenging about this, I don't want to necessarily say challenging because I don't want to set off the month in a bad tone or anything like that, but you know, a lot of people have really been looking forward to this Aries energy because it springs us forward into the astrological new year. Aries is a fire sign. It tends to be a little bit more energetic and everything like that. But for Taurus rising individuals, It's one of the signs that brings the sun into the 12th house. And the 12th house is like a resting zone. It is a place that requires a little bit more of retreat, contemplation, introspective energies from us. It's a house that may make us more sleepy or tired. So when the sun is in there, it's almost as if the sun is not really operating in its normal Aries manner. And the sun loves to be in Aries, so I mean, it does temper any of the challenges that may potentially arise a little bit because the sun is in a very well dignified position. But I just want you to be aware of that if you aren't necessarily getting the energetic, push forward that a lot of people seem to be talking about, that's probably why. And it's just important, especially during the time of this new moon, which is technically still a dark moon. It's all about resting and retreating and preparing for the lunar cycle that lies ahead. So for you, this is really going to be about focusing on how you can move forward with allowing some changes to occur that may require you to change who you are as a person, which will also require you to kind of purge some of the things that no longer serve you. These could be subconscious beliefs or tendencies that you can't be independent, that cause you to be low in self-confidence, to cause you to maybe not be able to assert yourself properly in certain situations. So whatever this might be for you, this could be a time period where maybe you're feeling a little bit more confused, where things aren't necessarily clear as to where life is heading or what direction you're supposed to be going in. And just know that that's really exactly where a lot of you are supposed to be right now. When the sun is in the 12th house, it's more about spiritual exploration, rest, focusing on the parts of ourselves that may cause us to self-sabotage and destroy opportunities. And just really kind of diving into maybe spirituality, or even maybe getting a little bit more rest, or just taking time to slow down, I think is going to be highly revered right now. So focus on that. Anyways, obviously the sun is always ruling your home and family sector. So this may require some behind the scenes work on family related matters. It could require you to be focusing extra time and effort behind the scenes with your parents, with family. You might have to take a leadership position in your family in some way. This could even bring focus to, for some of you, to 12th house institutions where maybe somehow family is being tied in with that. So maybe, there's hospitals that are tied into this, or maybe you go on vacation with your family and that kind of takes you away from the world in some way. But this is ultimately a new moon cycle where the month ahead is going to be all about you. For a lot of you, purging these dynamics of yourself that cause you or prevent you from really being able to kind of stand in your own power, to be brave about what lies ahead for you specifically. Now, this new moon, it's with Chiron, the wounded healer, so it has more of that healing element as well, healing the mind, because it's also conjunct Mercury, and the ways in which you communicate and express yourself to family members or to other people in general. Now, this adds a more challenging element too to this, because as this new moon happens a couple days later, we've got the ruler of the new moon, Mars, coming into a direct conjunction with Saturn. And Mars is like a surging forward gas pedal in a vehicle. And Saturn tends to be like a tree that's rooted and stuck down in the ground. It does not move. And it is like a boulder, and a car moves into the boulder. So for some of us, this may be a slowdown of us wanting to initiate movement forward in a career-related matter, something that we're doing out in the world. This could be bumping heads with an authority figure of some sort, or maybe you having to, sorry, my microphone is messed up. Sorry if that made the noise kind of weird. But anyways, it might require some restructuring, or you to get really serious about your responsibilities and your ideals, visions, and goals moving forward. So this could take some restructuring, of course. And it could also slow things down a little bit. And I think that the rest and retreat thing, so that you can explore where it is that you're going to be moving forward in the future, is going to be really important for you this month, especially in the beginning of the month. Now, this can also have to do with maybe our roles out in the world, how people see us, our status, our title. if you will. So for some of us, that might be, you know, married, and there could be some challenges associated with our marriage and everything like that too. For some of you, this is creating a T-square with your ascendant, which is who you are, and your descendant axis, which is marriage partnership or any type of relationship. So this could be business partnerships. This could be family relationships. So somehow there's something changing that's creating some type of tension or stress on your part, and maybe may require some restructuring or change, right? Or that change may just happen that creates some type of additional responsibility and kind of slows down some of the goals or ideals that you had moving forward. So I'm not really sure, obviously that will be very individual to all of you, so you'll have to kind of play with that. But basically, one thing I really like about, let's see, I lost my train of thought. Sorry, you guys. Okay, so then as we move forward, obviously we've got a lot of tension and stressful dynamics that are taking place, which really, you guys, is happening on your angles. And the angles of the chart are very, very important. The first house, 7th house, 10th house specifically for you. That's who you are. It's the relationships that you're in. It could potentially affect your family dynamics as well, because it's on an axis. Where you live, family matters, or who you are deeply, emotionally, you know, internally, and also what you're doing for work out in the world or how you're known publicly. So all of these are subject to change with a lot of these stressful dynamics, which, I mean, let's be real, those types of things change our whole entire life. So all of these other sectors of life are also being highly activated as well, just because of that. The structures being reestablished in some way, shape, or form. But what I do like is that there's a mixed bag of energy this month with all of that stress, tension, anxiety that could potentially be coming through. You've got Venus, which is going to be moving into the sign of Pisces and kind of joining forces with this Jupiter and Neptune dynamic that's going to be taking place a little bit later on the following week. And this is happening in your house of long-range goals and plans for the future. So a lot of those things could be really inspiring you right now. You could be thinking and idealizing things that were hopes, dreams of yours that could somehow be seeming more and more like a possibility every day. I don't know if maybe there's somebody that could potentially come in. So this is friends, but usually these are friends that somehow we network with or we have things in common with. And it's also known as the place of benefactors. So people that could literally come in, maybe it's a teacher figure or a guru or something like that, or somebody that holds a lot of wisdom, potentially spiritual wisdom, that could help you with what it is that you're trying to accomplish. Okay, so this can be a very, very hopeful outlet, this area of life. Maybe it's even that we're just having really magical connections with friends that are really helping us to kind of ease some of the stress and tension that we've been challenged with and making it a lot easier to move forward. But ultimately, I think that this is going to be a really nice area of focus, especially when Venus moves in there. And Venus happens to be the ruler of your 6th house of health, the physical body, relationships, all of those things. And also work-related matters. So I don't know if maybe some of you will have a job opportunity come in, or it could be magical friendships that start with coworkers or within the workplace of some sort. Or maybe some of you are actually having miraculous breakthroughs with health-related matters of some sort, where you're able to maybe get help from a group or circle that you're involved with that is supporting you to step into healthier routines, healthier ways of eating, taking care of the body, and ultimately forming better relationship with your physical health in general. Because this is also, Venus moving into this house is also the ruler of your chart, because you're Taurus rising and it rules Libra and Taurus. So ultimately, whatever this is really helping shape you and the person that you are and who you're going to be becoming moving forward. So these connections that you're having with friends, groups, beneficial people, and the goals that are starting to come to your mind and take shape, that might even just seem like a dream, like I don't know how that could ever even happen. Take note of those things, especially this month, you guys, because moving into April 12th, we've got the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction, and that's almost as if our hopes and dreams and wishes are somehow taking form in our lives, because all of this energy is going to be in a sextile to your first house. So if you guys have an ascendant especially between 20 to 29 degrees of Taurus, this really is going to be magical energy for you. So these connections that you're having right now could somehow really form into something beautiful that really helps to shape and transform your identity and how you operate and are seen out in the world. So I really do like this energy for you. I know that there's some growing pains associated with this though, you guys. And I had a client yesterday and we were talking about how difficult it is for the Taurus or just fixed energies in general, which is Scorpio, Aquarius, Leo, Taurus, to make changes, really. Like, especially when you feel safe and secure and you're in your comfort zone and it's easy, it's comfortable for you. This can just seem like it's something you really don't want. And we're going to talk about that a little bit at the end of the month, because we have a Pluto retrograde in your 9th house of your personal perspectives on everything in life. And I think that there needs to be some reshaping with your perspectives in general, which could really help you turn things around and make this a much more exciting experience if you're experiencing something less than that. So anyways, moving on from that magical Jupiter-Neptune experience, we've got a full moon in Libra. Now, this is also one of the more challenging dynamics of the month. This is going to be taking place in your 6th house of health, the physical body, daily routines, your habits and patterns that do or don't contribute to your physical health, as well as your relationship with your coworkers, people who might work for you, or just the workplace in general. So what's happening here is that this is asking us to maybe, it's bringing something to light, right? It's a full moon. And what we do with that is either we celebrate an accomplishment, something maybe ended and you know, come to fruition or culmination, or we might have to acknowledge something and make adjustments here. And this is actually creating a T-square with that soon-to-be retrograde Pluto in your 9th house of your own personal perspectives. So there could be something that's happening here related to your health, related to your daily patterns and habits and routines that really does need to be acknowledged, shifted, and changed. For some of us, we might have work endeavor that maybe is coming to a close or culmination. Maybe some of you are literally moving out of a job position, or you're having issues with your employees, and that has to be let go of. For some of us, maybe we get an opportunity or something comes to fruition where we have to make a decision because in our workplace to maybe let that go, to pursue something of higher educational endeavors, maybe go to get more education of some sort, or maybe it really does have to do with your personal perspective. These situations that maybe seem high in intensity, high emotionally driven with employees, people in the workplace, or maybe just with you and your own relationship with your daily grind, that really needs to have a perspective shift. Because the 9th house, where this Pluto energy is being T-squared, is all about our beliefs, which could be clashing somehow with other people. It could be somehow our perspective about everything that's going on in our life right now, which could somehow be interacting in a negative way with our daily routines, and that could be causing some tension-related health concerns. So these are all just things that you definitely want to think about. How is that working out for you? What kind of adjustments can you make here? And how can you transform your beliefs, your perspectives, and kind of the place that you're operating from, which can really help you move forward in a lot of beautiful ways. And like I said, again, at the end of the month, Pluto will help you with that, and we'll touch on that in a moment. Taurus season, April 19th. I don't know if I told you that full moon was April 16th, so I want to make sure I touched on that as well. But April 19th, shortly after this, we've got the sun moving into Taurus. So the light is finally going to enter your first house, which also has a lot to do with the physical body, our health, our appearance, our confidence exuded out into the world. And when the sun is in your first house, that can energize you. So you're moving out of the sun being in the 12th house most of the month, which it may require you to pull away from the world a little bit, which can be challenging in workplace dynamics, right? Or it can be challenging when we have obligations to other people, and we're being required to grind or something like that, and or be of service in some way to people. So now the spotlight is really on you, and eclipse season is starting to amp up at this point. So you guys are going to be feeling it, okay? Because this is in your first house. This is you that's changing. So this could really help you though. This could bring a lot of energy into the month that helps you to push forward. It could bring focus. Okay, well, maybe I am changing and I'm going to do this because it brings me joy. Maybe it shines light on what would be the next step you need to take to help with your purpose or the plot line of your life and how to move that forward. This could really help with maybe feeling low in energy or having some little health issues or trying to really vitalize you and any stress that you may be going through. So I really do like this energy of Taurus season. That starts April 19th. And then we want to also take into consideration that on April 26th, Mercury will then be in the sign of Taurus as well. That'll be in our first house, which really helps to kind of help your mind in a lot of different ways, help you understand kind of what's going on. Mercury is the ruler of your fifth house of things that you do because you love to do them. It is the ruler of romance and joy and pleasure and fun. So Mercury will be trining your fifth house if you have any planets there. So this could really bring focus on you finding more joy after you've been in this crazy 12th house energy of maybe feeling low, maybe feeling depressed, maybe feeling stuck, maybe feeling in a void. And this can be really, really nice energy for that. It can bring in a lot of communications with your children and maybe some great things that are happening for them as well. But what happens here is that Mercury, it also, one other thing is it could have brought in things with money-related matters as well, too, that need to be organized or structured in some way. Because what's about to happen is on the 26th, Mercury enters its shadow zone. Come May, Mercury will retrograde, and it's going to retrograde from the earth signs into the air signs this year. So it's going to be moving for you from your first house of who you are, your identity out in the world, the way that people see you, the way that you approach life, the way that you approach relationships and everything, your physical health and appearance. And it's going to be moving into your second house of money, finances, possessions, resources. It's those survival-based needs that we have. So this is going to really get your mind restructuring your relationship to all of those things, the way that you're spending your money, maybe the way that you're spending your money on your physical body or appearance, maybe has you restructuring your budgeting, the way that you operate, the way that you spend. It could bring a lot of these different things into focus, but we're going to focus more on that in May. Just know that this is the shadow period that's starting to set itself up. So if we start watching it now, we might notice certain circumstances later on in retrospect that have now started setting themselves up at the end of the month. So we'll talk about that a little bit more in next month's forecast, but I just wanted you to be aware of it. Then we've got Pluto retrograde, which is what I keep talking about on April 29th. So I want you guys to be aware, ultimately this perspective shift or transformation of your belief systems, this maybe you're having to really rework something related to higher educational pursuits, or maybe there's something related to foreign cultures or travel or something like that that's been going on. And what's ultimately happening here, I like to look at it from the perspective standpoint, is if you are able to make that shift in perspective, this can be a really nice energy, especially for those that have their ascendant between 26 and 28 degrees of Taurus, because this will be trining your ascendant, which is who you are as a person and the way that you operate. So that perspective shift could really help you. And that might even come a little bit easier for you because trines typically make energies flow naturally with ease and without much of our own due diligence or energy being put into it. So you might just have a shift in perspective, right? Something that's been deeply ingrained within you, the way that you see things in the world, your ambition, any of that might just shift and change near the end of the month. And you might start to feel inspiration and a desire to expand in ways that you didn't before, right? Where you might have felt stuck. So I really like this energy. If you have been feeling stuck, if you've been feeling less than optimistic, something could transform. A lot of the tension, pressure, and stress that you've been undergoing could have really helped push you into this transformation at the end of the month. Then rounding out the month, Taurus, we do have the beginning of eclipse season. We've got a partial solar eclipse that's going to be happening in your first house, right? Again, identity out in the world. What's going to be happening for you? Some of you, because this is a solar eclipse, right, at 10 degrees. So anybody that's got planets or points, I would say it's going to be even more impactful for you. I do want to give a little shorter orb because it's only a partial eclipse, but if you're a Taurus, it's still affecting you. Sun, moon, rising, whatever, especially for those between 5 and 15 degrees of Taurus, any points you might have in those degree points. But this is a solar eclipse, and solar eclipses actually bring physical, tangible life events. If nothing happens right on April 30th, do not fret, because this is an energy that plays out. It sets the stage for development that's going to be occurring over the next 6 months for you, Taurus. So this isn't like, oh my gosh, flip overnight, your identity changes. No, there's going to be a sequence of events that transpires for you this summer. Especially, we have some activations this fall, end of July, moving into the beginning of August, which are going to significantly shape and change who you are and the way that people see you, the way that you approach everything in life, okay? So this is all being set into motion now. We may notice a physical, tangible, actual event that happens during this time period, but I really ultimately love the supportive energy that this eclipse holds, because what's happening with this is that the eclipse is with Uranus, which can bring sudden and unexpected events. It can really shake things up for the better and make us feel liberated in who we are, standing in our power, right? It can make you feel really positive about your appearance if that's something that's been lacking or dull lately. And what I love about this as well is that okay, so the ruler of this eclipse is Venus, right? And Venus is going to be conjunct Jupiter, the big benefic. So we've got 2 benefic planets together in the 11th house of our goals. So this could help you to really move towards grounding what it is that you want to create for your future in physical, tangible reality, and actually step into that role and become it. I love this energy. It's very supportive. The people, the friends, the groups, people who could benefit you in some way that come in at this time, watch them, because that may start to unfold further as the summer moves on, and those people could be even more significant to you then. But I think that's all that we have for April. Of course, we have difficulties mixed in with beneficial things, mixed in with a little bit of magic, but don't we every month? It is a little bit more significant, the polarities that are taking place this month, but no doubt you guys can handle it. You guys have a lot of excitement coming in, so try for that perspective shift, and everything will shift and change to your benefit. I wish you the very best. If you do resonate with this video, please tap that like button below and leave me a comment. Let me know if you like this new structure that's going on my channel. I love to hear from you guys, and I am excited to talk to you guys again as we watch the transits unfold this month. Peace and namaste, my friends.